Permission to all of you, especially European, Russia, to know that space raising for third war, if your side is not standing up and bringing reality to the Canada and bringing basically freezing government of Canada, I have evidence for this to send into your YouTube because God wants before too late this information going on the world news. It's not long ago I did told the ice storm got released into Canada, which is the here.
Ice storms are not unusual in Canada, coating the landscape with a beautiful shroud of ice. But in January 1998, Canada was hit by a storm that was anything but usual.
This information, which is going to the YouTube, many people to know that I did send Space Ghost side want to release in basically a space attack to the government of Canada on the lawsuit against this department, Canadian Security Service, what they did cost behind my future. I bring it to you this video.
Mister, to know that your country, Canada, God want I make a YouTube video to send to Iranian government to bring investigation to the court people in Iran, but freezing court people in the Iran to not get out, or let court people from Canada going in the Iran. So I must make the YouTube to tell to the YouTube, you Canadian Security Service, but you giving job to the court people behind my case in Canada for 8 years. You did cause all this crime behind me and all this crime behind the Iran government. So Iranian government, according to the God responsible to stand up against your department, Canadian Security Service, and number one, freezing court people in the Kurdistan and arrested many people in the court in Iran, arrest these people. You casting basically this crime behind the nation, behind the Iran government and behind the many people in Iran. And many people, they don't know that I am witness to your department, Canadian Security Service, by what you did by court people, give job behind the cell phone, behind my internet, behind my future. So your department, Canadian Security Service, I've got one coming on the board news to Iranian government stand up to bring against your department investigation for casting all this crime by court people, sending a spy to Iran and sending many people and casting many people killed, basically. Many court people been killed today because of your Canadian Security Service involved and casting all this trouble to Iran, Iranian people and government of Iran. So this information must go same time to the Russia government to stand up and bring your good department, Canadian Security Service, under this investigation before going too deep, before many people be killed. You casting many court people in Iran losing their life.
This information, Mr., must come to your government in Ottawa to know that you must declare emergency according to God from now, not from tomorrow, because Space God side want to bring attack to your government in Ottawa, Ontario, on the criminal investigation for crime against the nation your country did by Canadian Security Service, which is I am witness. I make many videos sending to European, Russia, NATO to stand up and freezing your government, Canada, on the criminal investigation. One side on the terrorist movement in your country, laundering money in your bank account, Canada. Other side to the money culture in Canadian Security Service, you casting, sending to other country and casting terrible for other country. One of the country is you casting terrible is Iran today. Your country, Canada, casting government of Iran terrible, Mr. And people in Iran, they don't know. And Space God said, once I bring this to YouTube news, but you sending a spy to Canada, to Iran many times You send a spy to Israel by court people, by those people, to Israel, Jewish people, to involve and cast into Iran terrible again behind that. All that your department, your country did cost, Canada team. So according to information right now, in this moment, we know everybody, we know that 1998 ice storm hit your country. We know that already this ice storm hit your country. According to the Space God side, this will coming back to your country, Mr. Johnny, from January 2023 to investigation to your government, Canadian Security Service, under lawsuit against your country, because your country costing nation in the world terrible, because this Canadian Security Service building costing to nation in the world big terrible, Mr. And many people, they don't know that what is going to happen. Only I can tell you one word here: angel of the God sending deadly warning to your country, to actually European NATO, to stand up and freezing your country, Canada, and closing down this Canadian Security Service on the terrorist movement in the world. So this happening right now, gentlemen, in Canada.
Badly crippled by a thick layer of ice back in 1998. It's been 20 years ago today. The 1998 ice storm started. It was a...
This going to come in, gentlemen, from 2023. Nobody know that what is God 100% what is going to do in Canada. But I am sending to many parts to know that God want government of Canada be freeze on the criminal investigation, to not allowing this culture from Canada traveling to other country, because you cannot trust Canada basically traveling to other country because of Canadian Security Service crime. Spy descending and causing many people be killed so far. Last time was the airplane in Canada be hit by the Iranian government, and many people, they don't know that who caused that. Canadian Security Service, you send a spy to Iran and you causing even Iranian people be killed, which is many people in airplane be killed, and your Canadian Security Service, according to the Space Coast side, is guilty for all this crime to come in. On the world breaking news on the investigation by Space want to attack your government on the lawsuit.
Freezing rain event that lasted for days. Hundreds of thousands lost power. CTV's Jeremy Sharon joins us live tonight with a look back at the ice storm we will never forget. Jeremy.
Graham, the storm brought an unprecedented amount of freezing rain. By the end of it, the worst hit areas saw 100 millimeters. The ice covered power lines, was all over trees, and caused problems across the region. And for some, the storm proved to be deadly. Falling ice and the unrelenting sound of cracking trees, for many, the sights and sound of the 1998 ice storm unforgettable.
You could hear the ice cracking as it was falling on the windows and on the roof and on the cars. And
father died at age 62 during the storm.
Hydro towers bowed down in a twisted mess under the weight of the storm.
What started as some freezing rain late in the day on January 4th, 1998, quickly became much more.
I am declaring, as of 10 a.m. this morning, a state of emergency in Ottawa Carleton.
Ladies and gentlemen, this emergency coming back to Canada, plan is by angel of the God, if, according to God, if European, NATO, Russia, the dead United States, you can say, the criminal, if they don't stand up and freezing your government, Canada, on the lawsuit, if they don't stand up and freezing your government, Canada, on the lawsuit, on the investigation, cost can be 20 million people be on the news, because God want to bring first information in the news. World can receive that when happening. God bring lawsuit against the NATO. Why NATO did not stand up freezing your government, Canada, under criminal investigation to not allowing your government Canada carry on in the world anymore. Because you must believe, gentlemen, my information is not my information. I bring it to your evidence here. It is a God information. God want Canadian Security Service building completely be shut down, and that building be dust completely in Ottawa to Ontario. They shut down this building before, most important part you must understand, before too late, and you costing 220 million people losing their house even in Canada. So this information, gentlemen, must go. God want to go to the NATO European, because angel of the God involved from space for third war coming. And this third war, according to the space God side, they will attack United States CIA building and DIA building if they don't stand up and freezing your government Canada under this investigation I am sending to world news. United States be first country, gentlemen, responsible for what they allow Canada carry on by black culture in United States, costing to Canada carry on and doing this crime. I bring it, gentlemen, to you, all of you, to know that the risk 100% is coming right now. I am sending to all the God want I send into European government, NATO. If you don't stand up and freezing government of Canada, NATO coming on the lawsuits after Canada coming on the emergency for 20 million people even, because God want to government of Canada be freeze to not able move on to the other country and going on the protection of the other country like Russia or United States to not able to move anymore, and their flag be changed. Gentlemen, I can give you correct information. This flag of Canada must completely be destroyed and be changed to the what God plan is, because government of Canada, gentlemen, has been charged under this investigation for serious lawsuit against their government. And many people, they think, listen, for many people, they don't know yet what is going to happen in. Because risk is national biggest emergency evacuation in the world coming to bring in government of Canada under this investigation to not allow Canada carry on anymore. And this started, according to information here I have, this storm here 2 days ago, they say. This is the 2 days ago happening. According to this information, when ice storm happening 2 days ago, this happening in the Quebec, January 5th, 2020. Remember of flooding after the storm, power relief, over 1 million people, Ontario, Quebec, lost their power. So I bring it to you, this information, gentlemen. Space God side want this information by angel of the gods directly involved behind the Canada to attacking Canada, to freezing Canada before too late, going to NATO, European, Russia to stand up and freezing government of Canada on the lawsuits and bringing government of Canada under my investigation for basically what they did cost behind my mission for 9 years.